Most farmers are certainly familiar with the maximum return to nitrogen. You're putting in a new card in the deck here, maximum return to phosphorus.
Two more cards too, maximum return to phosphorus and potassium. But the talk you just heard was focused on the former, an MRTP. There's going to be an MRTK as well.
Now, how are we going to do this? What do you need to do to create that formula?
I'm glad you said we, because we need a small army of people to help us, and that would be landowner operators who are hosting these on-farm trials. So this to me is very similar in nature to the MRTN effort that is being led by IFCA, Dan Schaefer, John Pike, where on-farm trials are the basis for understanding yield and economic responses to the nutrient of interest. What makes P and K different, I'll just focus on P for now, is that unlike the MRTN, which is a rate gradient, we have different amounts of N and replicate on the same field, the MRTP, MRTK, is based on a with or without phosphorus. So that's how we develop the critical value recommendations. So for phosphorus, we try to build to a soil test target value. Typically that's 40 to 60, maybe 80 pounds of Bray P per acre. Well, that involves not different rates of phosphorus to test, but rather a with or without phosphorus dose. So long story short, lots of on-farm trials. We've got about 25 done in the last season, 2024 season. We'd like to double that for each of the next 3 seasons.
So you need volunteers.
Yes, sir. We do pay these volunteers. So I suppose they are volunteers. We pay them a nuisance fee. The ask we make is pretty simple. We just need a shapefile of the field of interest, and then we ask for the yield data off the combine. That's all we ask for. We do all the work, and by we I mean Dan Schaefer, John Pike at KSI Labs, as well as an important partner on this project. We do all the work in between the shapefile and the yield to get these trials set up.
Now, the ultimate product of this, is this going to be a web-based formula that will tell farmers the maximum return to P and K and how much they should apply?
Pretty much. There's going to be 2 products or 2 outcomes. One is an update to the Illinois Agronomy Handbook, Chapter 8 specifically, which discusses phosphorus, potassium, pH. So we'll update the online and the hard copies of the Agronomy Handbook, but also we're going to be making a sister website to the MRTN online calculator. It'll be an MRTP along with MRTK online tool.
Farmers should be happy to hear this, I have a feeling.
Well, I see it as being the land grant, we're neutral, we don't make money off of this, and it's just one more consideration, right? It's one more thing to consult. I know folks consult many different resources. They're agronomists, their experience, probably the most important, honestly. We just want to offer a additional resource to consider to help understand what the best, meaning the most profitable application of phosphorus might be.
Now, if some folks were interested in being part of this, how do they get hold of you? How do they reach you and find out all the details?
Great question. So they can get a hold of me or of any of the partners on this project. So I'll begin with the partners. Dan Schaefer, John Pike, Kelly Robertson, and KSI Labs are all partners on this NREC funded project, or myself. And that would be simply my email, which is my last name, Margenot @illinois.edu. We would then work with the interested landowner operator on whether their fields are a good match. We look at the shapefile, the soil types. We do all the work of crunching the shapefiles, and we then would provide a proposed design of the study. We want to make sure that it would make sense for the operator, does not get in their way, etc. If that looks good, then we move forward. We are able to do either spring applied or fall applied, so there's still time to do a spring applied trial for the 2025 season. It's also not too early to start planning fall 2025 applications for these trials for the 2026 growing season.
You mentioned one thing that I want to follow up on. You said this is a a study funded by NREC, Nutrient Research Education Council. That's money that comes from fertilizer sales. So they are really helping fund this, and that's a pretty good thing.
Yes, they are. So Illinois NREC has put in a large investment for this project. The goal is to increase how efficient we are with phosphorus. If we're more efficient with it agronomically, economically, that will only but yield benefits to water quality. So yes, this is really farmers' fertilizer spending that's funding it. And the other thing that I want to note is that we've taken that NREC investment, which is really an investment by the farmers of Illinois, and we've leveraged it to triple the investment from U.S. National Science Foundation. That's a federal funding source. So we've used state farmer dollars to triple their investment to make for even better research and hopefully, we believe, better data for them.